Everybody, up out of your cells. Stand in front of your cells. Face the wall. No talking. This is a search. Any contraband will result in street charges. Do you understand me, inmates? I said, do you understand me, inmate? What up, what up, what up? We are back with my Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Today, I'm giving y'all a story about a prison snitch who, well, he ran his mouth way too much, and he ended up running his mouth about the wrong people. Stay tuned, y'all. We fitting to get into it. Now, one thing you always got to look out for are people that get caught doing dirt, but they don't go to lockup. They go to PC or another pod and blend in. So that's getting caught fighting, and only one person is verified as going to lockup. Getting caught with a phone, but you still get visits. Getting caught with a weapon or a tattoo machine, and you just got moved to another block where nobody know you. Nobody notice all the COs pretty much ignore you because they not worried about you. This guy that I'm talking about, he's one of them. He is the prison snitch, people. He has no morals, no honor, no limit. Look out for the guy that don't got nothing to do with the convo, but he always there. And he don't talk much, he just listen. Now let me take you through the chain of events that happened this crazy day. It was a Thursday morning. Me, Dee Dee, Be Real, Be Murder, Don, we mobbing on the block. We just wasting a little time. We trying to wait for Josh to get back. He went down to the law library early. Said he had to do a few things. He trying to work on his case. So we waiting on Josh to get back so we can go walk the track. We done bust a move. We're going to go put something in the air. Y'all already know. Now, this is our normal routine. And after that, we normally come back in and start doing what we do in the pod, which is mayhem. Normally, we settle beefs. We start beefs. We approach the neutrons, bully them to either get down or lay down. You know, the normal vibes. Now, Josh came rushing back, speed walking through the pod, trying to get to us as fast as possible. So we are ready on alert. We like, oh shit, something going down. Josh get back to us. He out of breath. He like, whew, whew. They're like, yo, what's good? What's good? You good? You good, homie? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yo, I just heard the COs talking when they was passing by the law library. They didn't see me coming out the exit. I heard them saying that in the next hour, they about to come and raid the pod, y'all. Get all the homies together. Let them know they got to start stashing whatever they got. Weapons, tattoo machines, phones, you know, anything you're not supposed to have. Get rid of it. Food from the mess hall that you brought back. Get rid of it. Stash it. Do something with it. Cause you gonna catch a charge. They coming, and they coming for show. So right away, we scrapped the idea about going out to the yard at this moment. We're like, all right, let's go clean up our cells. Make sure we all good. Don't nobody need to be catching no charges. That's what we do. We each go back to our cells, y'all. Start cleaning up. Now, out of respect, you know, for your bunkie, whether he's down with your gang or not, you got to give your bunkie a heads up because that's your house. They fitting to come into your house. If they find anything in your house, it don't matter if it's yours or your bunkie's. Y'all both catching that charge. So you tell your bunkie right away, hey man, look, you got them dirty magazines. Put your phone up. Do whatever you gotta do. They coming. They coming to raid these rooms real soon, and we need to be ready. And of course, they follow suit just like you. Clean up. Now, we all had certain spots that we could hide small things in, like holes in the wall or holes in the bed frame that you could shove something in and have a string attached to it to pull it out at will. But if you had something like a TV with the serial number scratched off on the back, oh, you might as well just leave that out in the day room, homeboy, because they catch you with that. That's a stealing charge right there. They gonna know immediately that you stole that and scratched the serial number off, and that's a charge. So now everybody is worried about what they got in their room. Some people got bags of hooch under the bed, fermenting. There's a lot that goes on in prison that is unseen and unspoke of. Only the ones that need to know. So the biggest thing was hiding the weapons, because you don't want to get rid of your weapon and then after the shakedown, you be bare without it and vulnerable. So you got to find a real good hiding spot. Some people had joints the size of swords. Yeah, man. It wasn't no joke up in there. You talking about daggers. These joints could have went through bears. And that's exactly where you at, in the jungle with the animals. So we got done cleaning our rooms and we headed back on out to the track. We're like, all right, bump it. Let's just walk and act like we ain't hear nothing. We know we good, so let's just walk around and act like we ain't hear nothing and wait for it to happen. That's what we did, y'all. We walked that track, went out there, lit up, got done with that because we didn't want to get caught with that, so we had to smoke it. Hey, what better thing to do but smoke it? Now, heading back into the tier, we see the alarms going off. They got these red alarms, like these sirens. They look like cop sirens, and they're all around the building. And when they going off, you know it's a lockdown. So the lights start going round and round. Then all of a sudden, all you heard was, ew, 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 ew. Officers start screaming in the hallways, report to your cells, lockdown, lockdown. They want to get everybody back to their cells. They didn't want to get nobody a chance to scramble nothing. Get back to your cell. Then once you got back to your cell by cell, they're going to come and remove you from your cell and toss it. And that's exactly what happened, y'all. They tossed cell after cell after cell. But the funny thing is, and I don't know if everybody picked up on this, it was almost like they went into the cells and it was real light, y'all. Like they wasn't even hardly looking. They just went in there, looked around at face value. They didn't go into nothing. They didn't dig in jars of Vaseline. None of that. So it's almost like they knew which cells they really wanted to hit. Now, there were 4 Crips in this pod that were notorious for shaking down, intimidating, and extorting inmates. When they got to their cells, it was like these officers just turned up. They really tossed their cells. But they made it look good, but they knew exactly where they was going. Each one of them went into those cells and found something hidden in inconspicuous spots. Like one was like right under the bed. How easy is that? If you know, well, nobody knew the search was coming, but even if you assume a search might happen at any time, you're going to keep your banger right under the bed? I don't think so. One, they found a banger in a pair of shoes. One of them was just sitting in a locker. And another one was just sitting on the inside of a Vaseline jar. Now, they pulled them out of the cells right away. Turned them around. Face the wall. You're going to lock up, inmate. And they putting cuffs on them behind the back. And all 4 of them protesting. What you talking about? I ain't had nothing. I ain't have nothing. What you talking about? Now, they telling the truth, y'all. They like, weapon? Nah, man, I ain't had no weapon in there. I ain't had no weapons. And officers, they don't want to hear that. Shut up, inmate. And they walking them on out. Back to lockup. Now, they about to catch street charges, y'all. They about to get sent off the block to the back room. You get that one little skinny window, barely no daylight shines in, where you just sitting in the room all day long, talking to either yourself or talking through the walls to somebody on top or on bottom. Now, everybody looked at this like, something ain't right, man. Something ain't right. Them dudes, they didn't need to carry weapons. They were so scary, people were scared of them. They didn't need weapons. All they needed was their numbers and their strength. And people were scared they was going to snap their necks or something, choke them out, beat them up. They wasn't big on using blades and weapons. So for them to get dragged out of there on weapons charges, it made everybody, think like something is going on in this pod. Now, lo and behold, the prison snitch, Jeff. His name was Jeffrey. Called him Jeff. This guy, he was walking around like free as a bird. And there had been rumors that he snitched on somebody from another pod and got sent over here that everybody didn't understand. And everybody was like, nah, that can't be true, because if he snitched, somebody would have been done dealt with him or whatever the case is. They wouldn't have put him in the pod right next door to the same pod he snitched on somebody. And they're like, well, that's what happened. So people start investigating, reaching out to the other pods, putting the APB out. Do anybody know this dude, Jeff? Have y'all seen this Jeff over there on y'all pod? Is he a snitch? And well, y'all, the consensus came back, yes. Jeff is #1 snitch. He working with the police in the jail. So what really happened that day was Jeff had snuck into their cells and planted those weapons and told the officers exactly where to find them. The objective was to get them up out of here. They was causing too much mayhem. And the officers didn't like it. The officers want a nice, easy shift. They don't want no drama, no rah-rah. They don't want nobody getting beat up and unalived and robbed. So the easiest thing to do is set up the bullies and get them on up out of here. Now, y'all, it's confirmed that Jeff is a prison snitch. And that makes its way to our pod. Right away, everybody start forming a plan. And when I say everybody, I mean every little clique in that facility start forming a plan. We about to do something diabolical. We gonna start feeding Jeff info, false info through the network. Yeah, y'all. So that's what we start doing. Every time we saw Jeff, we start making our conversation real interesting. But it'd be full of fake, fake facts. Like, yeah, yo, did you know such and such had a phone? He'd be keeping it here and there and there. Yeah, and we seen it. Oh yeah, I know. I seen what's the name hiding his blade behind the water machine over there. Yeah, I know. That's a good hiding spot. Next time they raid, I'm gonna have to put my joint over there too. It's a vent in the wall, and you can pull it out if you just twist the screws with your finger a little and twist them back. It looked like it never got moved. They never would check in there. So that was one bit of information that we spread to Jeff. And, Jeff, in true form of a snitch, didn't ask no questions. He didn't make no noise. He just took his snitch ass right on down to the corrections officers and told them what he just heard. 3 new hiding spots, y'all. 3 new hiding spots. And now we will see if those officers come and search those 3 in particular spots in the day room. We are going to know for sure what we need to do to Jeff. Sure enough, y'all, the next day we'll roll on in, and here come the COs. Lockdown, lockdown. Everybody in their cells. Now they in there with dogs. They in there with, about 10 turtles. That's the officers with the riot gear on. They searching. They go right to the 3 spots that we told them, y'all. They open them up, and there's nothing there. Nothing. So, all Jeff did was waste their time. But that's not all he did. What he did was let us know for sure that he was the snitch. And now it's game on. Jeff, you about to get dealt with. Now, it took us about a good, say, 2.5, 3-day investigation to get Jeff's full routine down pat. In this 3 days, y'all, we figured out what Jeff does from 6 a.m. all the way to last lockdown. We figured out what officers he was talking to, who was letting him ride, who he was giving his information to. We found out some of the things that Jeff was doing because we watched him. We literally watched this man sneak into people's cells and plant evidence. Yeah, y'all. Jeff was a rat for real. A rat that needed to get exterminated. And once everybody found out who that rat was, it was easy to get everybody on board. So we continued to feed Jeff with the fake information. Meanwhile, everybody's pretty much sleepwalking Jeff. Now, Jeff had his own little vices, habits, whatever you want to call them. Now, we already reached out to everyone in the prison. Everyone that got anything that you could ever want. Anything that Jeff asked for in the prison, we're going to know about it, and we're going to exploit it. So when Jeff goes to the weed guy, and he goes to try and buy him a little bag of trees to smoke on the dolo, we're going to let him buy them trees, y'all. Now we know your intentions. We know you planning on going to hide in the bathroom in the back at some point to burn them trees. We just going to wait. We just going to watch, y'all. And that's what happened. When Jeff thought everybody was busy, nobody was paying him no mind, he twisted up and he snuck on back there to the bathroom. But we on him like hawks, y'all. We are on Jeff. Because Jeff is fitting to get this prison justice. Ain't no way in hell you going to be up in here snitching on people like that and think there won't be any repercussions, my boy. Soon as he slid in that bathroom, about 20 bloods followed in. Jeff couldn't go nowhere. Jeff probably wanted to scream, but he opened his mouth and nothing came out. He was dumbfounded, y'all. He just sitting there looking. And at this point, I think it flashed through Jeff's mind that it's over. It's over. It wasn't nothing left for Jeff to do but drop to his knees and accept what was about to happen to him. There was no fighting back. There was no begging. There was no talking. They bum rushed Jeff, y'all. When I say I never seen somebody get stomped out like this before, you know how in a shower the floor is slippery. It's like that linoleum or whatever, tile or whatever. There was so much red stuff all over the floor. People was like slipping and sliding in it. Getting back up and straight to stomping on Jeff some more. The purpose was, well, Jeff wasn't leaving that bathroom, y'all. At least not in one piece. Or at least not walking by himself. They beat Jeff. Just beat him and beat him and beat him till he wasn't moving no more. Ain't nobody checked no pulses. Ain't nobody looked to see whether his eyes was moving or none of that. Nothing. Jeff is knocked out on the floor, still getting stomped out, y'all. They still teaching this man a lesson. You do not snitch in the pod. And well, when they left out of there, y'all, Jeff was face down in one of the toilet stalls. They put him in the toilet stall with his face in the toilet water, y'all, and left him there. Flushed the toilet a bunch of times and just left him there. Everybody ran up out of that bathroom. Ran. When the prison guards saw all 20 people running out that room, y'all, they immediately called the code, threw the lights on. Lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. What's going on? Lock it down. Everybody was already running, tossing clothes that had red stuff on it, all of that. Nobody wanted to get caught. Everybody washing their hands, washing their knuckles, all that. And they came in there with the stretcher, y'all. Dragged old boy out of there. And that was just that. He got dealt with for running his mouth too much. He should have kept his mouth closed, y'all, and stopped trying to be a hero and a prison snitch. Because y'all know what they say. Snitches get stitches. Alright, y'all, listen. If you like that story, I need you to go to my channel, subscribe. Hit that like button. Hit that hype button. You know the vibes. And as usual, this is your boy JS Corner on the Prison Talk Show. And I'm out.